All good.
Hi everybody, good there. It's me, Ciarán or Deoráin. I am joined again today by William Kedjanyi to discuss day two of Dublin Racing Festival. So I think we'll start off again by looking at the grade one. So the first one to look at was the first grade one of Sunday's card, which was the 2.5 mile novice chase won by Ballyburn. So William, where do you stand on this race?
Impressed by the front two in particular. This confirms, I think, what me and you have always thought about Ballyburn
Yeah.
is a stayer eventually. Eventually, he'll be a free rider. The Browns is the right target for him of the two. Kempton, it was. It's a funny thing, right? Because firstly, I thought he hasn't run his race, and then secondly, I thought, well, he's just been outspeeded. Then thirdly, I kind of thought, well, actually, he's just not run his race, and maybe he has been outspeeded. And I think today confirmed both of those things. He's got a fight in him, which I think is important because most of his winning of it has been done on the bridle very easily. He was just by like 2 stone the best horse in the Turns Norris Hurdle last year. He didn't have to do anything at punches down, and he was so good in his chasing debut. I thought he was better in the jumping department. He can still improve maybe a little bit. I think he goes to Cheltenham with an obviously very big chance. I think it's going to be a hell of a match between him and Dancing City. I hmm, I don't know which way to go at the moment. I'd lean Dancing City. Croke Park, by the way, gets a shout out. Hasn't had many of his merits this season, but been one of the best novice chasers. Won a Dream More that you would have thought would have gone against him.
Yeah.
Um, quick round, 2.5 miles. Really good attitude to win over Christmas. Really solid yardstick. I think Ballyburn's done well to beat him as he has found plenty. All the big staying dreams are back on, really. He's finding his groove now as a stair.
Yeah, I think he's a fine jumper. I think like people make out he's a bad jumper. Like he's not a bad jumper, but he's not like a great jumper. He's fine. He's okay. Like that's like over 3 miles. You can't afford to be that expansive. You wear yourself
This
out.
is it, yeah. So sometimes it's better just to be fine.
Yeah,
The further you go out in distance, you don't want a spectacular jumper.
yeah,
Getting a job done is fine.
yeah. I remember watching Grey Dawning in the Betfair, and like he was jumping really well. Like I was thinking, he's jumping too well. If anything, like I mean, he just kind of gets himself to the front and like just do too much too soon. Like, there's no real chance of Ballyburn doing that over fences. But like I mean. Like obviously, like Ruby, I think was saying today that he could be the horse to take on Gallopin this up next year. Like obviously, that's a long way away. But like unlike Gallopin, still though he kind of took like I mean he would have taken the sight out of your eye the day he made his debut at Leopardstown over fence. Like I mean, he was like what on earth am I watching here? Like I mean, is it the fence? All the fences that insults him personally? Ballyburn quite isn't like that. And I mean, look. I think it probably will always be a weakness. You kind of always wonder, like, I mean, like, will he, like, how many times will he take a cut of defense? Like, Gallopin and Shawn could take a cut of defense, like, whenever you want him to. Like, I mean, he's like, one of his best attributes is when it comes to the last fence, it's always a big jump in him. Like, that would kind of concern me about Ballyburn. I mean, he doesn't necessarily, he's caught, he's fine. He just wants to pop away at fence, but he doesn't really want to take a cut, kind of. So that's, like, it is a little bit of a problem, like, still over 3 miles. You want him to take a cut maybe every now and again, but, that'd probably be more of a company, a problem in open company, I would think. Croke Park, like I think the Drinmore shouldn't be a grade one, anyway, and that 3 mile chase he won shouldn't be a grade one either. But he probably ran as well today as he had, or ran better today than he had in either of his previous wins. It's just that like Ballyburn was a good bit ahead in terms of talent than the others. And Perry Passe, like I thought his form over hurdles was actually like better than Ballyburn because Ballyburn didn't really beat much, whereas like Ampere
Mhm.
Passe, like he bet Gaelic Warrior and Champ Kiley in Ballymore 2 years ago. Like he won an 80 hurdle, but I mean, like he was just like I don't know what was wrong with him to say, but he never really jumped any fluency. He never really traveled at all. He was kind of like just I don't know. He was never at it from the get go.
The traveling thing was a strange thing to me. I
Yeah,
was expecting to travel into the race.
yeah,
And because in the past, his problem really has been that he gets to the front and he pulls himself up.
yeah.
See Aintree as a classic example, but today he was never at it. JJ was rowing away. I'm not sure really what happened. It'd be interesting to see if how he comes out and where he goes next because he was sticky, he was rousing. Um, then he sort of coming to the last, it looked as if he might defile the odds and take a hand. Then he's just left for dead. Strange, disappointing. Um, Champ Kylie, I don't know, did he bounce or he went out like a light
No,
to
I
her?
think he has better
Done.
form going right-handed than left-handed, I think. I think
Mm,
he won a lot though, didn't he?
yeah,
Yeah, I know. He is nine though as well. I mean,
that's true.
he is quite old. He might just be past like that race on the last day was fairly weak, I'd say. Um, So actually, just looking here at the price for the Brown Advisory, so like Ballyburn, who's just in around two, Dance City 10th three, and then you have Croke Park's 12, Lecky Watson's 12. So Django Bay seems to be the best of British at 12s, and like the next British one I could find, I guess Jinko Blue at 25s. So I mean, obviously with the jukebox man being ruled out, I think
Mm.
handstands. I think they said they're going to skip Cheltenham with him. I mean, there's a very weak British challenge here.
It is, yeah. It looks at the moment between the Mercy and the Irish. Terrible shame the jukebox man isn't going. It would have been fantastic to see him against these two. I was impressed with Ballyburn today, but I tell you what, at the prices, right? Just at the prices, I could take Dancing City.
Yeah,
I could take Dancing City for the Brown Advisory.
I think
I go on.
the problem with Dance City, I think that. Like I think Ballyburn might have more natural speed, so like Glad City probably prefer was a stronger run race, I think. And I mean, where's the
Yeah,
pace gonna come from? Like, it's going to be a big field, probably not. And like, I mean, obviously, a smaller field probably reduce the chance of there being a lot of pace on show.
yeah, he would want them to get racing out. He would want a strong staying renewal of it. I do think it's possible he's improved maybe a little bit since he was always hurdling. Um, the pace makeup is going to be really important at Cheltenham this year, as is the ground.
Yeah,
As is the ground. There are a number of horses who I think would be very suited by well-run races on ground would give at Cheltenham. Whether we get that, we just don't know at this stage.
yeah, yeah. The Chappie Chase, Chappie Turtle, they're probably all very ground dependent.
Yeah.
Where were you? What was your view yesterday on City Isles between Handstands and Django Bay?
Good race, good contest. Don't think either two lost a huge amount. Um, Handstands is a really lovely horse and all. If you were to be a bit nitpicky, or maybe I'll be a bit nitpicky, the impression that Django Bay left on me on his debut suggested that that's the sort of horse that should go to Cheltenham maybe unbeaten. Like,
Yeah,
the first day, I know obviously look the form it can go various ways, etc. And it can be a bit misleading sometimes. Your debut F can look really good, and then it's suddenly not as good in the cold light of day. But not much between the two. Good right, really good race. Handstands probably a stronger stare than I gave him credit for. He can get his foot in, can't he? He can really go well in the mud. He's earned his right to go to Cheltenham. I wouldn't discount him there. Um, are we getting a bit of deja vu? Because he went there last year, got
yeah.
thumped. Maybe I think he might be a better. Is he a better chase than the hurdler?
Yeah,
Mm,
well, he's a getaway, although I'm not a particularly big fan of getaway. I think his horses
mm.
tend not to go on, which is a fairly important thing for jumps horses,
Yeah, yeah.
unlike flat maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought it was a good race. I think they're two of the better British novices. I will be respecting them and considering them at Cheltenham. I think the Irish have the advantage over them at the moment. If it's a slog that handstands is of interest, they might need to improve. Actually, they will need to improve again and to
yeah,
get involved in the round of what I would have thought.
yeah. You kind of wondered, then, like obviously that Django Bay form of Cheltenham had looked very strong with Springwell Bay absolutely hacking up on New Year's
Mm,
Day meeting, but I don't know. I think yesterday I think Nico, I think that like we were talking I think last year in the space about like his strengths and weaknesses as a jockey. I don't think
mm,
when he's on likes of John Bond or Contribution Hill, where like, I mean. it's a high pressure ride. Like let's not argue otherwise. But I mean, it's probably quite a simple ride. In terms of like the technical execution, that's more just about like just delivering like the high pressure job, like the high expectations. Yes, it's kind of a different one because it's not as like still pressure. It's not quite as high pressure and it's not quite as straightforward. But I mean, it just like I mean, he's not really seen. Like I mean, that's where you really see the criticism from some Irish Twitter accounts. They probably, I mean, he's probably a bit fortunate, yes, that the DRF's at the same time because if I was saying next Saturday there'll be some Irish Twitter account and they'll be absolutely hurling abuse at him. Um, but yeah, that's a different story for a different day. So do you want to move on next to what race next? I think it was a Kopek de Board, was it in the race
Yeah.
officially known as the or official title I think is the Brave Inca. So where do we start here, William?
Let's start with that's the performance of the weekend.
Yeah,
Don't think there's much doubt about it. I had been hopeful that given what he did on debut, when I think a few things were against him. I don't think the R were going amazing at the time, as I keep saying. Don't think Patrick Mullins got on particularly well with him at his hurdles in terms of sort of the way he was presented at the obstacles. Um, Also, it was foggy that day, and it was so foggy that we were only seeing really the last half a furlong of races.
yeah,
Today, he had a much clearer sight. He'd obviously been schooled since, and that engine was huge. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely huge. Today confirmed it. I think more than the wildest dreams confirmed it. Um, the it could have gone wrong. It could have really all gone wrong. He was being interfered with an awful lot by
Eastern
Jim.
legend.
Yeah, Jim Bolt.
Nielsen.
Yeah, legend. Um, and it was, oof. He got some rough stuff. Um, I was prepared for him to fall in the hole,
Yeah.
cut like two out because he didn't settle. He didn't settle, and I thought, goodness me, he's been at the magic pixie dust again. Like, I think this is the horse that needs to get a winner finally for the preview, and can he just go and do it? And it's just like, oh God, what has he been eating? Because he was flying away, Paul, down the bank, but jumped better, didn't jam on so much, got into a stride, and then around the home turn, just spectacular, just absolutely
He was
spectacular.
lobbing about. Like, I mean, you look at his ears. Like, I mean, he was, it was
Mm,
just like just a canter for him. I mean, you know, with all the
yeah.
other like they flaps the boards. He just I don't know, just a piece, just a piece of work for him. Uh,
Mm,
I mean, I think I tweet my tweet didn't age well. I think I had it that Salvatore Mundi was supreme. Go back to Warby Turners and Final Demand to be Albert Barta. That tweet aged. I'd say Sour Milk is aged better than that tweet did. But I mean, like I mean. If he gets strong pace in the Turners or said Supreme, I mean, he's just your stereotypical Turner, like Supreme horse. He'll cruise for fun. He probably quicken. He'll probably stay as well. I mean, and like he jumped much better today than he did the last time. I mean, we were talking pretty much all winter long that it wasn't gonna be a very strong Supreme. He looks like a pretty top notcher, not very strong Supreme. I mean, it really isn't. Like, I mean, I don't think anyone really is gonna be mad keen to take him on. To be honest with you,
yeah, look, he'll win when he goes for at Cheltenham.
yeah,
Simple as that. Pick and choose. He is the Ballyburn of this year in the sense that others I imagine will be actually going to avoid him. I know that by the way, you weren't terribly wrong in your thinking with that tweet
yeah,
because David Ormundi has been the supreme project.
yeah,
And he's been the supreme project for feels about a year now. I still expect Salvador Money to rate better. I think he's much better than we saw at Punchestown. I just don't think he's going to get the chance to show it before Cheltenham. That is clearly been pretty pre-planned. So I just don't see how he lives with Cope de Board at the stage of his career. I don't see much how anything does really.
yeah.
There have been some good novice hurdlers who have shown like lots of potential, whatever, but none with that raw power coming home. And the forms worked out great. It's Chris Leopardstown form. Chris is very solid. Today probably jumped. He probably still do better. Um, and I just find it very, very hard to see what beats him apart from himself. Maybe at Cheltenham, and probably even that may not be enough. No, he was sensational.
Yeah. I think like now as hurdlers, I think this season hadn't been. that's spectacular. I think it was pretty much new line for in December. But then like today or sorry, yesterday and today with Final Demand and go back toward the kind of like a Fire and Division that had been kind of very, I don't know, very dark kind of all season long. So I think like and obviously it's encouraging from a sporting perspective that there do seem to be some good novices about. But yeah, like go back to board. I mean, could he be Vitor good, Duvan good? Like we'll see. But he kind of looks that kind of caliber today.
He did. He left that visual impression. He certainly left that visual impression the way he powered through, the way he did it. It was it was certainly very Victoria Van like in terms of visual impression at least. Just on the others, well done, Gordon Geartrex. Oh, I have mucked that up. Good sports for bringing Good and Clever over. Good and Clever ran a lovely race.
Yeah.
He'll they might be a bit canny on second season novice him. Because you know he'd win a maiden, certainly. You could
Would you maybe run him in the county and like obviously I mean if he loses that he
yeah,
can
yeah,
win
yeah.
it, win a big race, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely the way to go. He ran a lovely race. He's handled all sorts of ground. He'll find some nice prizes in the future. Carney Cage was much more like it. Much more like it all. I think he's one of those at Christmas who just had the curse.
Yeah.
I forget his run at Christmas. He's run really well today. He looks a nice horse. I wouldn't be surprised to see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Cheltenham, but I think I could see him going to a couple of nice races back end of the season.
Yeah.
Um, there are a couple of grade twos dotted around the spring festivals. I think one at Fairy House, if I remember correctly. Over Easter, there's the novice hurdle at Punchestown. You know the one I mean, not the
And There's, like,
2 mile.
there's one actually that's in graded novice. Is it in Naas or is it Navan maybe a week before Cheltenham or
I
Sunday
think so.
morning?
That's it. Yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
Corbett's Cross won that.
Yeah, and then sorry, Fernie Hollow's brother, who's remember his name? I haven't seen him in a while, have we? Fernie Hollow's brother. Not Grange
Oh,
West. No, it's something. I forget his name. I think he's a Cheveley Park horse, isn't he? Or no. Sorry, he's a JP horse.
uh,
I should
I'll,
remember his name.
I'll, I'll get this. I'm sure it's. I'm looking it up, by the way.
He
So
beat
I get time
he
cheating.
beat No Flies on him, I think. Or so that was sorry, that was who you call him, Tully Hill, wasn't it?
It might be Tully Hill.
No, so it wasn't. No, it wasn't Tully. Tully Hill won a listed race at Punchestown.
Yeah, sorry, he won the listed punches down and went
It
on
was
for.
Mirazor West.
Okay, yeah. But like, no, Carney K can win something. Obviously, there'll be, I think, plenty of targets for him. Like, I'd see him having a little spring campaign,
Yeah.
being a busy bee. They could send him go for a grade with him. He might win. Where he is vis-a-vis the others, I don't quite know, but he is absolutely not disgraced himself at all. The rest were just splayed all over Leopardstown, really. Maybe some hard races. I think that Quebec the Board has really put plenty out of their comfort zone. Come home almost as he liked. I think he's put himself down as the outstanding festival novice prospect. Of the rest, I think Good and Clever and Carnique performed with, I think, plenty of credit. Okay, Duffy, quickly,
Which is pointing.
because yes, yeah, weird, right? Because the rumor was an overdrive. I got a WhatsApp. I got a WhatsApp and 2 Twitter messages telling me that he was out.
Oh,
They
the Stone Blues rumor.
the Stone Brews rumor.
Yeah,
Although I got
no, you don't want to hear all the rumors. Tony Calvin was saying that during the week that I think Ballyburn had fallen during school, and so like no.
right, okay. I also got the Ballyburn had fallen during schooling rumor, but I got
Yeah.
it sent to me as a WhatsApp. Yeah, it's interesting. Like there was some wild stuff going out around about it. I thought he was out for the season. Like that was what I was led to believe. Turns out he was fine. Bit disappointing. I agree. He was leggy, like really leggy in the last film. I wonder if they do find something being up with him maybe. I think he can bounce back. I think he's better than that. Um, so I keep an eye on him. I'd be willing to forgive.
Yeah.
The rest, no, no, nothing lost, not been enough. Redemption Day, by the way, throughout this effort, I don't know that he's the best jumper of a hurdle in the world.
Well,
Or
that's pretty problematic now.
yeah, that's we're saying that a lot this evening,
Yeah.
but um, I do think that when you get to the proper spring round, he'll become really interesting stuff again. Galway might suit him. Something like Galway might suit him, or even Punchestown. When the ground gets decent, I'll be interested in Redemption Day, but he'll need to jump better.
Yeah. I wonder how JP will go about splitting his novice hurdlers. He obviously has the new line now. You'd imagine he's booked in for the turners. Does Kawabumba then go to the Supreme? Obviously, if you go up there, you're taking on Kopek de Board again. Obviously, like he did run Kopek de Board respectively close. At Leopardstown on the 26th, but at the same time, Kopek de Board did not jump well that day, and he jumped infinitely better today. I mean, would they rather double up in the turners and maybe have two good shots at turners and have not the Supreme, or else kind of split them up in the turners Supreme and try and win both, but at the same time risk winning neither?
Good question. I think you have to try and swerve Kopech if your aims to win. Mm, at the moment, if you had a price with me, I'd say it's favourite that Kopech goes to Supreme. So I think they might go turn as the two of them. JP's never been afraid of having doubles up in one race if he thinks it suits them.
Or Captain
Uh,
Phoebe and Binocular, yeah.
yeah, those heady days.
Yeah.
I would have said, look, it's made for the new line is made for the turns because he's not a typical shallow winner. Most of them tend to be staying chases to the future, your Germans, etc. New line's got tons of toe, so he'd be okay in a typically run turners. Kawabunga, hmm, he's not short on speed. He's
Yeah.
not. Um, I'd say the turns probably suits the pair of them best anyway.
Yeah.
I think they'd be fine to go to Kawabunga, sorry, to the Supreme. But if Kopek was there, then what's your realistic hope of reversing the form? And it seems to Salvador Mundi is very much preferred in that pecking order to him, despite the fact he hasn't shone so far, really.
Yeah. He doesn't see whether Salvatore Mundi gets switched to the turners now, or whether they're okay to
Yeah,
go back to board.
I would not look. I've seen really less surprising things happen. The way Willie was talking today, he doesn't really want to switch Kopech.
Yeah.
And why would you? And look, Willie, I was told last year, no, not last year, 2 years ago at the DRF that Willie Mullins is the most powerful trainer in racing in the sense of yes, he's a cool shots of connections.
Yeah. Other than
Uh,
JP.
yeah, JP is the exception, right?
Yeah.
But he's the great man, and he's the only one who can do that. Everybody else goes with what he does.
Yeah.
It was the reason I was told why Paul Townend got the preferential Rangers double green and stuff like that. Um, I think if he wants to go to the Supreme with character balls, and I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, I think he will. I don't think I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked to see Salvador Mundi rerouted
Yeah.
to the, where they might actually argue that maybe that suits him better.
Yeah. It's hard to know. Actually, that'd be quite turners to watch if you had the new line, Potter's Charm, Six Mile
Salvador Mundi,
Bridge, Cowabunga, Salvatore
yeah,
Mundi, the Yellow Clay, Final Demand. Yeah, that'd be very strong turners though. You nearly wonder some of them. You get a very weak Supreme, obviously, like Kobe to board probably being scaring everyone else off, and you probably get a very weak Albert Bartlett, but sure. I don't think anyone the Albert Bartlett is not a race. I think look, obviously people love to win it, but it's not really it's like it's the unlovable it's number three out of three in the novice hurdles, excluding the triumph.
yeah, absolutely. I don't think yeah, I agree. Basically, I agree with that. It would be exciting to see, and I think it's entirely possible we do see a switch. We've seen it happen before anyway, with connections who've had these cars to play. and you've got a trainer and a jockey who want splits and want to win all before them. We've seen it happen, and it's the way of the festival. That's the one in Cheltenham nowadays.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that's probably enough said about the novice hurdlers for now. So I think if we can, we might move on to the Dublin Chase, the 2 mile chase that was won by Solness. So Solness
Mhm.
winning his second Grade One in a
Yeah.
row, which is the surprise of quite a few people who thought kind of, I don't know, a bit of a, well, he should have been able to catch people by surprise. Then again, maybe he was just too quick for them. So what was your opinion on today's race, William?
My opinion on today, I mean, the initial opinion was what was every other jockey apart from anybody is doing? Ha- my initial opinion was just one of bloody shock in the sense that he's managed to get that same lead again as he did at Christmas. And there was no way others wouldn't have been aware of that. Um, but then I have heard tidbits, little rumors, etc. That the time was quite strong, apparently.
I think I'm just looking here. The time was fast by 5.6 seconds.
That's
Uh,
no small effort considering the ground.
yeah,
It was
maybe
gone.
this horse is a 12 furlong jumps horse.
May, maybe it is. I mean, first of all credit to the team at is it Killtown? It's not Killtown. Sorry, I'm Kevin Blake. I'm
Pilltown Kilkenny.
there we go. Thank you. All credit to the team because they've really gotten the best out of this horse this season, and two great rides. Danny Mullins great. Look, I think the others dropped the ball definitely, and I think the one who might be kicking themselves most over it will be Sean Flanagan because if Marine
Yeah.
National had been a bit closer, he'd have every chance to get past. And maybe he should have won today. Actually, I will say I think he should he have won. Yeah,
I
I'll
don't
say
know.
it. I think
It's hard to say. I mean, they finished like 12 lengths. Sorry, Solness is 2 lengths ahead of Marine National, and then Marine National is further 12 lengths ahead of Gaelic Warrior. Obviously, like, I mean, who genuinely like that was as fast as he could go. Like, the ground was too quick, and the trip and like Leopard's Eye, I mean, like that was really like at one stage I thought he was gonna be pulled up.
yeah, Gaelic Warrior was it was so strange. I mean, first of all, right, I love Paul Townend. He goes without saying. I'm always defending him on here. What was happening today with some of these rides, right? I just found it very strange. I'm going to sound like a pocket punter. I didn't actually put anything up in the race, but what was very odd, the Gaelic Warrior, right, who we know gets further, right? He's an Arkle winner, but he won a heavy ground Arkle. I was so surprised not to see Paul Townend gunning him and forcing it. I know Gentleman de May tends to come alive later in the year, whatever. Don't know why he was where he was. Don't know how that race developed. Where um, I went to get a pint of Guinness. I sat the pint of Guinness down, and then suddenly like Danny Bunn's like a 20 length lead, and it's just like what actually happened? Gaelic Warrior was it was odd. I think something was up. He do you know what? The limp effort reminded me a bit of last year. You
Yeah,
know, in fact, Far just sort of cooked him. He did his
yeah.
brains in, and he cranked it up around the far turn. He was goosed. Today was just very odd because he didn't really seem to travel, but when it got there, he suddenly was just raced over. I don't think you had a run for you, money really. And it was worrying because look, I know that he doesn't tend to like Leopardstown. He doesn't like going this way, etc. And you can argue out the trip or whatever, but there was enough digging that ground for him. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Absolutely convinced there was enough digging that ground for him. Got a good gallop. Ran promisingly at Christmas despite what was going on around him. Let's see if something physical comes up. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
I think there was actually a little comment here. So vet reported gelding to have a small skin wound over lateral sesamoid left fore, but to be otherwise post race normal.
Okay. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they go back and you look under the bonnet and something else happened as well.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing. He wasn't staying on. He wasn't. He was plodding. Um, he ran like he did in last year's novice over 2 mile 5, and Faxify was impressive, but Gaelic Warrior obviously just didn't turn up. Let's see what they do in terms of going to Cheltenham. You imagine he might go to the champion chase because he's the realistic young hope after El Fabiolo fell.
Yeah,
Um, and I mean, first of all, can I just say, thank God he's okay.
yeah.
Look, that looked horrible. Um, will his confidence taken up?
Oh, I'd say they have to. I mean, yeah. I don't know
I,
where you go with that horse now. I mean,
I maybe they need to do a sort of Henry Cecil twice over thing and take him to take him over hurdles or whatever.
yeah, possibly.
Take him over hurdles, find him some sort of dolly race, or whatever, and just build him back slowly. There's still an engine in that horse. I don't doubt it. The money that came from it, there has to be an engine still, but he hasn't been able to jump since this meeting last year. And I don't know if he was great in the air at this meeting last year, actually. I
Yeah,
think he was just sort of so good and so powerful that he just ended up winning. He might look, I don't like saying sort of horse. He might be goosed now, right? He might
yeah.
be a bit washed. It says like the way that he jumps, etc., makes him basically uncomfortable and unraceable over fences. What do you do? They've a headache now. With him, albeit he's the type of horse you'd love to have the headache about. But yeah. Going forward, I'm excited to see someone try and do it at Cheltenham. I
Yeah.
think it will help John Bond, but I loved Joseph O'Brien's fighting talking. Why not? Why not go and gun him? If they're not going to follow you, go and gun him
But
out.
I think now Nico. I mean, it's very simple. He should
Oh yeah.
follow. He should follow. Like if John Bond, he goes as fast as John Bond can, basically. Because I know. I think it's fairly
It's
simple. Chappy
it's
Chase.
it's the perfect setup. Look, the winners of today are everybody at Pilltown, Noel who owns it, I've got his name wrong, I'm sorry, Daniel Mullins, and last but never least, everybody connected with John Bon.
Yeah. Maybe
Basically,
Ile Francais too.
oh yeah. That
Like for me, like
fun
Gaelic
side
Warrior
that
could go
be.
on Ryanair. In fact, the file could be on Ryanair. So Ile Francais, you'd have two choices: Gallup and Deschamps in the Gold Cup, or John Bond in the Champion Chase. For me, I think John Bond in the Champion Chase. That's the one I want to be taking on. Like John Bond, very good horse, very consistent. Like today, I don't think I wouldn't class him in the same caliber as Gallup and Deschamps. And like obviously,
Mm.
like Ile Francais for me, like Kempton's an easy 3 miles as far as 3 miles goes. You're going to Cheltenham, which is tougher again, and it's 2 furlongs up and trip, stiff finish. Wouldn't be keen on him at the Gold Cup at all. I
Yeah,
think
same.
he looks like a melling horse to me, and look like a lot of good
Agree.
champion chase horses gone on to be melling horses. Maybe he can be a champion chase horse. I don't know. That's where I'd go if I were them.
And plenty of King. I mean, it used to be the thing that you could be a champion chaser in the King George horse. Andrew
Yeah,
John, right? One man, right?
yeah. Florida Purple, he didn't do it successfully, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, no, I think more than fair enough. I think if you connections, I think yeah. I mean, to be fair, why not, right? Who's there bar John Bond now, right? An argument he's not going to reverse the form.
and needs heavy.
Needs heavy, and he's too old anyway.
Yeah,
Lovely horse, needs heavy, too old. Gaelic Warrior won't live with the speed if unless it's heavy. Probably needs heavy, or at least needs to come back first of all to his best anyway. And he was good in last year's Arco, but did he just sort of flop apart at the seams? Kind of looks like it a bit now.
yeah.
Who else do you have to fear? Solness might go and give you a lead.
Well,
I
Matata
think
as well. He might go hard front.
Matata, Solness and Matata. You take a lead off Solness and Matata. It's a great weekend to be a John Bon anti-post backer. It's a great weekend to be a backer of John Bon now. I think he goes off short. I think he probably just wins.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Elifanze go. And if he did, it'd be a cat amongst the pigeons. But at the moment, I dare say, I know we've had this before. Quickly, I know there are times against us, right?
Yeah.
The sort of awesome foursome who can't be beaten in the championship races. We've been here before, my friend, right?
Yeah.
How can he lose the champion hurdle and then he surely wins the champion chase and then suddenly you're on the Gold Cup for the lot? Oh, but bloody hell, I know I'm gonna eat these words. I find it very difficult to see
No.
what's getting better. I think they've all got vulnerabilities. I don't think Constitution Hill is like there is going to dare yet, but oof, John, I'd say John would be in a better position now than he might have been. I think it's all coming up Millhouse for
Yeah, a nice reference, yeah.
him.
I might just switch briefly to the champion hurdle. I think it says 5 minutes
Yeah.
left, which is
Okay.
or the Irish champion hurdle, although I think the Irish champion hurdle fell apart, that maybe
Yeah.
we should be I just it's a bit pointless to discuss it. Like Lossiemouth fell and Stateman's basically left with a penalty kick, and I mean we learned very little other than that she took a crushing fall. Will she be right? I mean, they seem intent on the champion hurdle. I mean, it just like I want I'd really actually honestly if Lossiemouth went to the mayor's hurdle, I honestly wouldn't care. Whereas brighter days ahead with the mayor's hurdle, I would care quite a lot because I care very strongly about that. But because I rate BDA ahead of Lossiemouth. I think BDA, strictly speaking, on form, I think she should be able to give Constitution Hill a race. But look, I don't know. Have you anything to add about this Irish champion hurdle?
Uh, I mean, thankfully, also I'm grateful Aussie Mouse up.
Yeah,
That was a bad one as well. I think the biggest thing going forward is will she have a bit of shakes after that, right? You presume I'll have a bit earlier was. I mean, it's not the sort of things happen to her. But like, God, it was a perler. Um, and thank God Danny Wines is okay because he looked rough. That looked horrible. I'm glad that it's all good now, we hope. Shame. It's a shame. Stickman was good and agile, but after that, we just basically didn't learn anything. Would it have done his confidence much good to win as he did? Who knows? Maybe.
well, I can't see him troubling Constitution Hill. Like even if
No,
Constitution Hill isn't the same horse before, I can't see Statement troubling.
I agree. My view on it was basically, and this is why I went for Lossiemouth. Lossiemouth has the ability to rate higher than
Yeah,
State. I've got the potential. Let's call it the potential, right? She can go higher. Um, I think she still can. I think that the champion hurdle is Constitution Hills for the taking, but it's not a done deal. If Lottie Mouth is able to recover and go there, we know that that will suit her much more than Kempton did. Much more. Brighter days ahead, I think, can put Constitution Hill under a pressure that he hasn't been put under since he came back. He did a hack around the last day. He took a lead off Burdett Road the time before. Losty Mouth was trying to go with him, trying to sort of change modes or whatever. It just didn't work out. If they all went, that'd be fascinating.
yeah.
Um,
Especially Burdett Road, Kingsfield lead, and Brighter Days
yeah,
ahead right behind. Then Constitution Hill right behind there, and say Lossiemouth and Statement right behind there again. So it'd be
yeah,
fascinating tactically. In case of best horse wins, actually tactics go out the window in a way.
yeah. Look, I think that it's advantage Constitution Hill. But if they all go, then I wouldn't rule anything else. I want to be in Constitution Hill's camp though, because I think he's had a chance. He's cleared his cobwebs. Think a lot of the engine is still there. I wouldn't want it to be. I know you've referenced it. I wouldn't want it to be a heavy ground slog or anything.
Yeah,
I did really like sort of good to soft, maybe soft for him. I wouldn't want to see him getting gassed out,
yeah,
um, or whatever, and having to do lung busting sectionals from the top of the hill down. But no, at the moment, I'd be up with him.
yeah. But I think he is he the most vulnerable of the big four.
Um,
I think
all
he's pretty like I mean the champion chase, like I mean it's not a strong division. Gold Cup, not a strong division. Stairs Hurdle, absolutely not a strong division. Like champion hurdle, Brighter Days ahead and Nossie Mouth, State Man, I'll go. Amber at Road. That's probably the strongest competition any of the championship favourites are up against.
I'd agree with you if they all turned up.
Yeah.
Listen, they all need to turn up. And let's say all things being equal, we're getting like say good to softish soft ground with the cuts. Then yes, yeah, I'd agree. And just quickly, we've only a minute left. Bambino fever in the Luxembourg bumper, the Grade Two for mares, really impressive. Really impressive. They might go for the champion with her. She's a player. She's a player.
Sorry, this is the part where I interject the champion bumper. I mean, I think isn't. I mean, I just disagree with the concept of a champion bumper. Yeah, it's just no. I mean, that's. I mean,
Have
that's
you
the.
not a dream to share before we get cut
Oh
off?
no, just no. Sorry, don't even mention the name. Don't even mention the name. I think so. On that note, I think so. What was the top? What was the top gear? Jeremy Clark's one. On that note, it's time to leave. So I think I'd like to thank everyone for listening. I think in the words of a JP McManus horse, Slán goibh go léir, goodbye to all. Thanks everyone.